if Team Good Guys can finish last.
Victory or death.
Though he grew up ashamed of his father for drinking Manaroth's blood, Garrosh Hellscream was filled with fierce pride when he learned of Gromash's heroic sacrifice. After joining the Horde, Garrosh quickly rose to become the commander of its forces in Northrend, and eventually Thrall's successor as war chief. His hatred for the Alliance is unrivaled, and he wants nothing more than to crush them into dust. Now, the Nexus trembles as Garrosh's war song echoes across the realms. Garrosh is a resilient and relentless warrior who uses brute strength to crush the will of his opponents. Garrosh's trait is Armor Up. As he takes damage, his armor increases in proportion to how much health he is missing. The lower Garrosh's health, the less damage he suffers from enemy attacks. Groundbreaker is Garrosh's first basic ability. He slams the ground with his axe and creates a shockwave that damages all enemies in its area of effect. Enemy heroes at the edge of Groundbreaker's damage zone are pulled toward Garrosh on impact. Bloodthirst is Garrosh's primary method of sustain. With a quick swipe of his axe, Garrosh deals damage to an enemy and heals himself for a percentage of his missing health. Bloodthirst's heal is doubled if used on an enemy hero. Wrecking Ball provides Garrosh with a powerful repositioning tool. When activated, Garrosh picks up the nearest enemy and throws them to a target location, damaging and slowing all enemies in the area. Garrosh's first heroic ability is Warlord's Challenge. He lets out a fearsome battle cry, taunting nearby enemy heroes and forcing them to attack him for a short amount of time. Decimate offers a more offense-oriented heroic option. Garrosh quickly spins around, damaging and slowing all nearby enemies. This ability stores up to 3 charges and has a short cooldown. Decimate deals double damage to enemy heroes, and its cooldown is reduced for each hero it hits. Garrosh is a durable solo tank who becomes even harder to kill as he loses health, making him especially effective when paired up with a healer like Malfurion or Lucio. But keep in mind that Garrosh's comparatively low health pool and his reliance on armor make him susceptible to abilities that deal a percentage of health as damage, such as Malthael's Reaper's Mark. Though Garrosh doesn't have much in the way of mobility, his Groundbreaker and Wrecking Ball abilities are both powerful tools for displacing the enemy team. With proper positioning and well-timed use of his abilities, Garrosh can force an enemy hero into an unwinnable situation so he and his team can secure a kill. At level 1, Garrosh can take the Body Check talent. This gives him an active ability that damages and slows an enemy and deals additional damage based on Garrosh's current armor. At later levels, Garrosh can take additional talents that further empower Body Check, giving it a shorter cooldown and the ability to reduce the healing that an enemy receives. If you take the Into the Fray talent, Garrosh gains the ability to throw allies, allowing you to reposition your teammates. This can be used to remove them from danger or to enhance their mobility, greatly benefiting low mobility tanks like Arthas or Dahaka. When using Wrecking Ball or Into the Fray, remember that both can throw minions as well as heroes. Position yourself carefully so that the Horde insignia appears over the target you want to throw before you use the ability. With his father's axe in hand, Garrosh will stop at nothing to conquer the Nexus and destroy all who dare oppose him.
Bring it on!
I've been thinking again. Gazlowe on Warhead Junction. What are you running away for?
Heroes of the Storm. Get a Heroes Legendary Loot Chest included with Twitch Prime. Rated T for Teen.
Introducing HGC Cheer. To bring more hype to HGC this year, you can cheer with bits to show support for your favorite teams while unlocking in-game loot and exclusive Twitch emotes. Cheering is a way to show support for streamers, celebrate the amazing, and amplify your voice in chat. Bits are a virtual good you can buy on Twitch to cheer. When you cheer for your favorite teams during HGC, a share of the revenue from the bits cheered goes to the team. As you cheer, items like loot chests, mounts, and exclusive emotes will unlock when cheering goals are reached. Check the HGC Cheer event page to track progress and see the loot you can unlock. The leaderboards will show who's the biggest fan of your favorite team. To get started, buy some bits by clicking on the Nexus icon at the bottom of chat and select Get Bits. Then, when a team impresses you with skills like these, click on the Nexus icon in chat, select the team logo, add the number of bits you want to use, and a message to cheer them on. You'll summon a team-themed animated cheer mode to celebrate the moment and amplify your voice in chat. The more bits you use, the cooler and more animated the cheer mode. Be sure to link your Blizzard and Twitch accounts to claim your loot when it becomes available. We'll see you in the Nexus.
We're all tied up here at the HGC here in Europe, as right now, Team Good Guys are tied up against the Playing Ducks with a 1-1. One game, Good Guys look very clean. Second game, Playing Ducks a little bit more cleaner.
Yeah, it looks good so far. And I have to say, every single time I hear tied up, I know there's an Oriole joke in somewhere, but I can't come up with it quite.
That's maybe going a little bit off the deep end, Caldor. We're gonna go ahead
Says
and keep pushing on through.
you want to talk.
Twitter poll is up and available right now as you guys have voted on who you believe will get the momentum and pull ahead in the game. And it's actually very close, 54% for the Playing Ducks. Team Good Guys with the 46.
Yeah, nearly as close as the series here. The Ducks, a little bit favored here by most of you.
Almost as close as we are, Caldor.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
you're a little bit closer to Chromie, as I found out recently. I'm not quite sure what to think about that.
I have gotten rid of her. She's not my favorites anymore. I'm done with it. No more Chromie. I love watching her lose. Game number 3. Let's go ahead and go into it.
That you love watching Chromie. I took that from your last comment.
So. Spider Queen. Playing Ducks with the Battleground pick. Let's talk about that.
Give me a moment.
Tuma Spider Queen is going to be the pickup here for the Playing Ducks, a map that they have ran pretty often. And despite admitting it, Chromie has actually played on this Battleground pretty often.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Any additional comments?
She has dings too. It's a level 1 quest pickup. You can move into it. Pretty strong. Time Walker's Pursuit. Get a lot of region globes. Pretty easy to pull up. And it's very effective to utilize. It's a good pickup for a majority of scenarios.
Yeah, Chromie has dings too. So, with that fantastic statement from Tim, we are heading into our Game 3, Tomb of the Spider Queen. And of course, once again, we're talking a lot about wave clear on this map. And yeah, it's all about trying to get that double turn in here. And Chromie is indeed a hero that can help you with that.
We also touched on it slightly in Dragonshire, where we have that two-man that's happening in the solo lane, if you will. We've been seeing a lot here on this Battleground, especially if Tassadar is in the mix, and seeing who can kind of edge each other out in those lanes.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Medivh banned out immediately once again. So this is a bit of a theme for the Good Guys right now. They're just saying, yeah, Sport Billy is a bit too strong on Medivh. Let's make sure that they are not going to play. It's not only about Sport Billy, but it's just the entire team playing around Medivh. Yeah. That's so good. Tassadar also banned out. And that brings us to our first pick. Is it going to be Rhaegar? That's the only question that I have talking about the Good Guys. It seems that it's like their #1 pick in nearly every map.
Passing over ETC though, Caldor?
They've done it before.
I know, but if they do it, I think I am disappointed.
I mean, I was disappointed when they did it last time, but that's why I want to know if they actually stick with it. And I hate how long they take to decide which hero they're going to pick first.
Yeah, maybe if they just focus on pure wave clear and they keep ETC at bay, it'd be fine.
Oh,
wow! That is a change up right there.
Yeah, they're mixing things up a little bit. Super early Vala.
Taking away the Vala from Chris here.
I think that must be the main thought process behind it. Not only that they get it, because normally I'd say they don't care too much if they get Vala or Lunara. They've played with both of them. But taking it away from the Ducks, who obviously love to play Vala. But yeah, leaving Rhaegar to be taken. ETC is now still available. As of course, other heroes on this map that can also excel. Stitches that we just saw from Nanda on Dragonshire is pretty good here too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be pretty impressive here to see the ETC straight into the Rhaegar counterpick from the playing Ducks, put themselves up for that wave clear, get the strong tank set up for them. They go for Johanna and Ariel instead, taking the Ariel away from the Vala. Johanna makes sense, but I don't think you had to pick it up in the first 2 rotations.
I would agree with that. Maybe a draft or a pick later on that synergizes with her could shed some light on it. I would be shocked if Rhaegar isn't picked now. I don't think they take that risk. You know what I would love to see? There we go. Johanna, you know when Johanna was actually picked super early on this map? Back when we had Asmodan stacking.
Ooh.
I don't see that happening.
Don't put ideas in my head.
That should have come from you.
Yeah, but...
I'm not actually not sure what I said that. That should have been your line.
Sure.
But I loved Asmodan games on Timo the Spire Queen. I absolutely love that dynamic of the weak early game and trying to survive into a strong late game. I think for a lot of players it was very annoying style to play, but as a spectator, as a caster, I always thought it was super fun to cast these games. I don't think it's going to happen here, but I would absolutely love if one of the teams would at some point give that a shot again.
I mean, too, you can mask it very, very well, too, with the Johanna and Ariel pickup. As of late, that usually trends towards a Chromie pick later on, so the Chromie gets banned out, and it's like, ha-ha, Asmodan.
This team's just got so much better at punishing weak early games. And with the objective just snowballing, teams have excelled at that. So that was in a time when it was a bit easier to stay alive. It comes back to Nazeebo, for example, that we talk about. A lot of teams playing towards the 20, playing towards the late game, and now everybody trying to figure out a little bit more, hey, how do we punish these weaker compositions early on so that that power spike never really plays that big role that our opponent would love for it to have. But I mean, the draft continues. We have Rhaegar, we have ETC now taken as well. So the draft for the good guys is really shaping up to be quite solid here. Whereas the playing Ducks, with this setup, immediately realize, hey, remember Infernal Shrines?
Yeah.
That ETC Arthas combo didn't really work out for us too well, so let's make sure that they don't play the same front line and make sure that Anti-Hero doesn't get Arthas. So
Lenara ban probably floating around for Team Good Guys, an idea to get rid of. There's always a Gul'dan too, which is something that Chris has played in the past. In fact, they're actually hovering the Gul'dan, so they ban out the Gul'dan here, which means Cassia and Lenara are still available. Good pickups for the Ariel.
Yep, Cassia and Lenara are still around, so those are two of the picks that they could spec into. And another hero that I would like to see on the side of the good guys is actually for the solo lane Malthael again. Since now Arthas has been either Malthael or you're going to Sonya. But I would say that is definitely a solo hero that they're currently thinking about when it comes to anti-hero.
What about Dehaka? We've seen him on Team Spider Queen.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you have around the turning points. A lot of those positions where you can work with a good drag. They could play the Haka here. I think that they probably like Malthael a little bit more. They played him a lot more in the past as well for the solo laner, but the Haka is for sure an option.
So, playing Ducks still considering what they want to run into, and they decide they want to pick up the Lenara and the Uther. So running double support here. This gives them a chance to spread out between the lanes, have Johanna, Lenara, and Ariel clear middle and top lane, and put that Uther in the bottom with the solo laner if they feel like they really want to go in for those fights. Team Good Guys now on their 4th and 5th and need their bottom laner. And want to decide, do they move into another support here and make sure they can control the fights, or do they go ahead and try and grab another tank?
Do you know who also holds the solo lane? Asmodan. Okay.
Yes. Yes, he does.
No. You were supposed to.
Have you heard of this new build as of late?
Please don't. Just
It starts with an L and ends with Azer build. Can you put it together, Caldor?
Nope.
Okay.
I just refuse to acknowledge that. So, all kidding about last picks aside, the double pick for the good guys. Again, Malthael would be a good solo laner for them. They could go into... Ooh. Okay, so we have a double support with Malfurion coming in, probably going to spec into Moonfire. And Tim's favorite hero is also being picked up. We have
is in the
Chromie
game.
taken.
Love Malfurion. He's my favorite hero.
You're into older guys now?
Twilight Rain and beards. That's the appeal for him. Okay, we're burying this hatchet. No longer is this joke allowed on this stage here.
I think
Family-friendly stream.
That joke is absolutely amazing.
Ducks on the right side.
I want to encourage everyone that is currently watching this and is heavily confused of what's going on here to ask for a certain clip in Twitch chat. You're going to have a good time, I can promise you that much.
I hate the internet. I really do. I really do. Why does it exist?
All right, I'll give you that. After phase 2 is over, I'm going to drop it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But until then...
2018 New Year's resolution.
Until then, you will suffer.
Looking for a little bit more damage here for the Ducks, but also a bottom laner. They're going to go actually move into Dahaka.
So they have Dahaka now. The double support here. I'm wondering what anti-hero is actually going to play here. He's probably going to find himself on one of the 2 supports, for sure.
Yeah, probably the Rhaegar.
Yeah, probably.
Do his best Wobby impression.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the second support for them, I'm not quite sure what to make of it, because I'm not 100% certain if I'm sold on that. They have the support for Vala, and oftentimes the thought process behind it is oftentimes that Vala wants to be a little bit more aggressive, but because she's also vulnerable, the double support helps her to be more aggressive. But one of the main arguments for ATC is that with his face melt, he normally provides the space for her to be a little bit farther out there. And I think with the second melee, they could have done that in teamfights later on as well. So it's interesting for me to just see that, and I'm wondering how exactly they play around it. Right now, just looking at it, I actually like the Playing Ducks draft a lot more. The double support on Oriel is fantastic, even now with Oriel being a little bit... sorry, the double support Lunara with Oriel in the mix, even with the nerf to Oriel is pretty great. You have a good bottom laner, you have a ton of wave play on all of these heroes. I like what the Ducks have.
I like Team Good Guys, though, with that Malfurion pick. I think he brings it all together. First off, you have the heals for the Vala to move in, just drop the heal at the time, allow her to get aggressive. If you need that last-second heal, Rhaegar is there. But the Innervate is mostly important for me. First off, if Vala wants to be able to work in some more multi-shots, or Chromie, who wants to siege a lot, given that Innervate gives her the 50-second cooldown reduction, and you have the follow-up for the ETC. I think he just complements too many people on the setup for Team Good Guys. Let's go ahead and go into Tomb of Spider Queen here. We're all tied up 1-1. We'll see who will take the lead here in this best-of-5 series.
Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 3. A lot of interrupts here for the team in blue as we have Kronos on Rhaegar. And then, of course, Xay this time on Malfurion. We're already seeing BKB on ETC. Antihero is, in this case, playing a Vala. And we have Raid Boss on Chromie for the double damage.
On the right side in the red, Chris will not be on Vala this game. He'll be on Lunara instead. Eternal playing Dahaka, Wolf Joe on Uther, Nande on that Johanna, and Sport Billy playing the Oriel.
So there's a lot of interrupts on the side of the good guys, and this is one of the things where they can really try and attempt to just control the objective. In a teamfight scenario, I think the Ducks have a really good shot at playing with their main damage to Lunara and trying to maybe capitalize on stuns and drags from Uther, Dehaka, Blessed Shield, Johanna later on. But yeah, the objective fights are going to be super interesting since you have Moonfire available, you have the poke from Chromie. There's so many interrupts that the good guys have that if they are able to get that early lead, they can definitely carry the momentum towards the mid game.
Now, look at that bottom lane. The Vala and the Rhaegar will be in that 2-man lane, looking to put some pressure on the side here. Kronos needs to be careful, though, already possibly getting caught out here. Whoop Joe comes in for the stun. Sport Billy helping out with the Tame Strike, and Chris bringing out the damage. Now, they're going to be using the Malfurion mostly for the wave clear that should be happening due to that Johanna, but they have to be careful because the Thurnal is actually in a spot where he might get caught off here by Raid Boss.
Yeah, is eating a lot of damage, but still able to walk out of this alive. So it's the one thing that I find also a little bit weird is just simply that we have so many role swaps on the side of the good guys here today. It's nothing crazy, and I mean, if you watch, for example, the streams of these players, you know that when they are playing a solo, they play a lot of these different roles as well. But overall, when we're talking about the competitive scene, the trend has really been that especially the top teams have started to narrow their hero pool a little bit and very much limit the role that they play, and for a very good reason, since of course mastering that role on these heroes is always the goal, and a lot harder if it comes down to these half-seconds decisions that you need to make with positionings and with aggression or falling back.
It is pretty crazy to see that the melee bruisers that typically hold off those offlanes are becoming the second supports, though. It's such a different way, a different approach to move into the game here. Rhaegar, I think, is probably the closest thing you can get to a bruiser role, so you see a lot of those supports picking up that Rhaegar, but when you have someone playing an Oriel like Sport Billy here, they definitely have to push them out of their limits a little bit.
Yeah, for me it's more anti-hero on Vala right now, and I mean he traditionally plays a good Vala, we know that already, but still he's normally the off-laner on that melee and already hyper-aggressive here, but he might actually fall. Kronos needs to heal. Well, we had the fountain still up, so that works as well. But there's that pressure play from the playing Ducks. They have that double support and they're using it to a great extent. They have all constantly heroes that need to help out on the lanes, and Chris is just poking away with Lunara, and that's even without the level 7 talent where he's going to get a big power spike.
Yeah, a bit scary for them. They've already also got a turn in here. Playing Ducks looking great, while Team Good Guys have to find a way to answer back. So far, Chromie's done an okay job in the middle lane, but nothing too spectacular, and that's what's allowed Good Guys to kind of get punished here in the bottom lane, as the Ducks have just done a really good job of finding moments of when to get on top of that assassin and, of course, keep that ETC at bay.
Yeah, and this is pretty much what I was worried about when we were starting with the draft here. You can see that the bottom tower is already about to fall for the Good Guys. They lost ammunition on the bottom one completely. The top one is nearly depleted. And with Sportbilly and Chris just dominating that lane, there is nothing Vala can do against them. Absolutely nothing.
Gets better at 4 and 7 when the multi-shot build comes online, but right now, you're right, they are getting poked heavily and having a very hard time there, and the number continues to climb for the Ducks in the turn-in. 27 here out of the 50 needed to get the Wild Weavers pushing in, and with 13 being on a thermal here, they get a few more, and they'll be good to go to be able to get that full turn-in. In fact, they have all the gems they need to do so.
Yeah, they just need to make sure that the Haka is the one that gets into position, and he's doing that as we speak, and he's not contested. So he's nearly going to be able to complete it. 43 now, 7 missing. The bottom tower is already gone, and it just continues. With them just shifting the laning a little bit, having the Haka on the solo lane top, and then rotating between middle and bot lane, the Ducks have now opened up this entire map, basically. Sportbilly takes the blunt force of this entire combo that Chromie just executed. But still, when we're looking at the gems, Ducks are way ahead right now.
They only need 7 more, and a Thurnal will be able to grab that soon here as he's getting a few more gems in the top lane, but between the supports, they also have a few gems as well. If Nine is able to drop one off and then get the 3 others, they'll be good to go, and they're working on it on the top side. Team Good Guys are now in a spot where they have to both watch the turn-ins, but also defend that bottom lane side. They are very stressed out in the moment here at only 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the game.
It's really understandable. Sportbilly dodging barely as Rega moves in. BKB is also joining. That's 3 heroes at the bot lane, which means that Johanna is going to get a turn-in up at the top, and that's the red Web Weaver wave descending for the playing Ducks.
Oh man, we're going to keep watching this here as the turn-in will be turned in, and they're going to have the push coming in on the top side. Great way to phrase English there. The turn-in has been turned in as the Web Weavers are going to the top middle lane. I am not wrong here. The wave clear good for Team Good Guys, though. Can they get a solid defense here? The multi-shot coming on, the Mournfire as well, going to be in a good spot. And then Chromie dropping down those Dragon Eyes can hit those Web Weavers too and help burn them down.
So we have for now just a push going straight through the bot lane, but we have also 2 heroes moving straight into the middle to make sure that the Web Weaver is getting some value there as well. And yeah, I mean, the stacking process currently is looking pretty solid on the side of ETC with his level 1 talent Proc. And on top of that, when we're looking at Johanna, for example, we see Eternal Retaliation taken. Rega down and Chromie on the run. Not for long.
Web Weaver with the kill there, the big assist here. BKB came down to help out, but Anti's going to get caught out as well. He's getting low on the health. He's going to be damaged down here as Lunara's poison should deliver the final blow. There it is, and BKB hoping to get away. Playing Dunks are just stomping Team Good Guys right now.
Yeah, they definitely do. And another thing that we are currently seeing is, we haven't really pointed out, I just touched on it, Eternal Retaliation taken as a level 4 talent with Conviction on 7. So focusing heavily on cooldown reduction and therefore on additional wave clear. There is actually even a build where you don't even head into Reinforced as the level 1 talent, but you simply take mana regeneration through Punish and then just completely spam your wave clear the entire time to just push these lanes out. And the Ducks are doing everything right. They have 3 kills, they took the fort down, they have 1 level lead, a little bit more than that even, and are starting to head towards that second turn-in. So I don't know, it's going to be rough for the Good Guys to make a comeback here.
You almost have enough gems too for that second turn-in that you were talking about here. Thurnal's watching the top side, so BKB can't drop off the 23 gems he does have. Playing Ducks are working on pushing in the middle lane too to deal with the mercenary camp that is pushing in towards them. But you're right, Ducks are doing everything right. They may have just found a Chromie 2 in the middle as Nande moves in, gets a condemn on top of her, will force her to pull away.
They should try to get the second turn-in now though. since level 10 is going to be ready for the good guys pretty soon. But they're actually looking for kills here, and they look for Kronos, but the collapse is already happening on both sides. Now Kronos is low, but it's still 10 against level 9. 11 actually at this point already. And the good guys are edging out more and more experience points for themselves, which means that they are getting closer to their own heroic abilities. So this is the moment where the playing Ducks want to complete their second turn-in. They're making that happen at the bottom turn-in spot. BKB will be a little bit too late to do something about it. But there's still 2 gems missing on the side of the Ducks.
Wolf Joe has them. Can't he get them dropped off here on the top? Playing Ducks, man, that was such a beautiful engagement on the bottom side. Even though they didn't get the kill on the Rhaegar, being able to turn in definitely warranted now because of them bringing all the resources of Team Good Guys down to that bottom left corner, which opens up the map for them. And here's the reward here as it gets the turn in. Wolf Joe needs to be a bit careful. Aegis will be utilized. There's still a Divine Shield available for Wolf Joe. Will he use it? He does.
And they get at least an Ancestral on the side of the good guys. But it was still a favorable trade when it comes to cooldowns for the good guys, since they burned 2 of the opponent's team. So once again, we have a push with the Web Weavers. Bot lane, of course, is already starting to pressure towards the keep, and this is actually getting dangerous for the good guys. They will probably have to give up one of their forts to save the keep wall.
BKB still has Mosh Pit. He's been looking for it, but so far playing Ducks have controlled it well. Nanda using that Condemn to really make sure they keep that ETC away. Middle lane's pushing in, it's getting handled pretty quickly, but the top lane is the major one here as the Web Weaver is pushing in, and the bottom lane will become a threat soon as Dahaka has cleared that entire minion wave and pushed it in.
All that Dahaka has to do is move to the top now. Move immediately to the top, help out there. Down at the bottom, they already get value. At the top, they're likely to get the fort. They're even going for the kill here, and they might get Xay. Xay is low. Malfurion is about to fall. The Blessed Shield hits home, but he's still able to walk out of it. The follow-up wasn't there. The fort is still going to fall, and Dahaka has stayed at the bot lane throughout all of this, pushing it in even harder, breaking through the entire wall and helping the Web Weavers to annihilate the fountain.
My favorite part about that fight, too, was that Eternal went to the bottom lane, made Kronos come down, which did allow Team Good Guys to start fainting like they would come down too, but they saw Eternal back away from the fight, so they assumed that Dahaka would go top, as you were calling, which made it become a one-on-one scenario because Eternal came back, pushed in, and got the keep wall. Good read there by the playing Ducks, and they were just pushing this map heavily here. 13-11 ahead of their opponents. They have 3 kills already, but good news for Team Good Guys. They at least have a turn-in available if they could just get it.
They held onto their gems, and that's important, but they fell behind in levels immediately. And the big problem is that if BKB dies with those 33 gems, they are in a lot of trouble. It's also that extra talent. For the playing Ducks, that talent is just so impactful, especially since we have even more wave clear added to what they already run with Johanna's Burning Rage, but also the unfair advantage that Lunara is using now.
Yes, looking to push it more and more here, having that greater or unfair advantage. I was expecting maybe a greater spell shield against the Chromie just to make sure you don't get one shot in case maybe a support misses out on it. But Chris, trusting Wolf Joe and Sport Billy to keep him alive, and also his own skills here to dodge out on the shots coming in from Raid Boss. Team Good Guys holding for now with the 1-4 in the middle, but they have to deal with the pressure on the bottom, which may allow for the playing Ducks to make a play on the top or push in a fort.
You know what the good thing is when you're playing a support for Chris?
What?
It's never your fault because Chris is the problem.
How long have you been waiting for that joke?
I actually just came up with it.
You're so smart. Oh, you're so funny.
Hey, let me cater to the memes a little bit, okay?
I like it, man. I mean, that's one good thing about the internet. Memes
Also, the
were
one thing
born.
that generally made you laugh for a second, I don't get credit. If I make a dumb joke and make a face, then all of a sudden you're all in. But if I actually think about one, you're just like shrugging it off. Feels bad, man.
Feels good, though, for Team Good Guys. They hit 13. Now they can maybe force a fight. BKB's looking for it. They may have found an Ariel, but Ariel just backs on up with Chris protecting him.
A very smooth transition here.
Thank
I'm
you,
proud
man.
of you.
I got it, dude. Down here.
BKB still trying to get that turn in. And now they have level 13 talents, so they are attempting to at least use that opportunity. But guess what? Dahaka is putting a timer on it because he's pushing heavily through that bot lane right now and will start to eventually attack that keep. So the good guys have to either fall back or to complete the turn in. And Nanda and his boys, they know it. It's just interrupt after interrupt after interrupt, and the keep at the bot lane will fall.
Well, Tom, this is just scary right now. As the playing Ducks turn around, they're working this 45 in, getting the damage as much as they can, but Dahaka is getting a full keep.
Yeah, he's getting that keep for sure. They were so in on that turn-in. They completely tunnel vision on it. And they, of course, knew that Dahaka would get it. But they said, guys, if we do not get this turn-in, first of all, we can't just run back and forth the entire time because the playing Ducks are getting closer to another turn-in themselves.
Wolf Joe.
And they get closer to level 16.
Wonderful interruption. Now, will it cost him his life? He still has Divine Shield. Should use it at the last second here. Ooh, he is going to hold on to it.
Wow.
So bold, so strong, so brave.
Yeah, indeed. That was pretty good. The old man survives. Doesn't use the Divine Shield, and we have now already the shield being scratched in just a few seconds thanks to that push at that bot lane with the Siege Giants. And the good guys are now 3 levels behind, another talent behind. Here comes the engage towards Anti-Hero. He barely gets saved, but the party is on as BKB once used the Mosh Pit to turn the fight around, but that doesn't really look likely as once again the Ducks are moving in. Iron Skin popped on Johanna, BKB in trouble. That's 38 gems as we see Chris dropping him together with Sport Billy.
And Team Good Guys are in trouble. Lenara is bounding towards him here, moving forward for the fight. Only the assassins left. Anti, low on health, gets condemned. Chromie being taken out as well. Anti hoping to live, but he is going to fall. And that should be game, actually, here. They set it up so well that they denied so many gems that Playing Ducks are 16. They can clear out the fort. This is looking like Team Good Guys are checking out already.
Yeah, you can't go for the core at this point. That just doesn't work because the death timers are too low. But you eliminated every single gem that the good guys were holding. And that is insane. Because right now, it's a Webweaver wave, boss is being attacked, you have a 2-level, 3-level lead. It's a talent advantage. You hold all the aces in your hand right now.
Yeah. Everything looks good here for the Playing Ducks. If Team Good Guys come back in this match, I am going to be thoroughly impressed with them here. Let's see if they can do it. They still have defense. They still have a couple of keeps up, but it is looking dire right now. 16 to 14.
If somehow the good guys turn this around, that would be another Fnatic Dignitas moment, Battlefield of Eternity style.
I would be willing to bet my left tennis shoe if they're not coming back right now. That was a major blow to them.
Yeah, that was basically a checkmate right there. The good guys need a fantastic, like a miracle kill and a chase that somehow eliminates the entire lineup, because now there is just pressure on every single lane. Top lane, Webweavers, boss, mid lane, the Haka dropping another forward, bot lane already moving towards the core as we're seeing the Playing Ducks starting to move in through that top lane. BKB doing his best to at least push them back for a little bit, but time is working against them as the Haka has now reached that core with that bottom wave.
Keep taking the damage here. As you mentioned, Dahaka already breaking through the core. Nande trying to keep everyone here. BKB in particular is the one that would force the engage. Ancestral Healing has to be used by Light Poke here from Lenara. The core is going to be okay. It's still holding, but the shield has been burned down now. It's been dropped down to 99%, and now it has to deal with 4 people and a boss pushing in.
And of course, in the mid lane, we're seeing a similar picture as already another wave moves in. The boss is on the core right now as the good guys are starting to lose hit points on the core. Once more, Mosh Pit is ready. Can BKB drop that one Mosh Pit that changes it all? It doesn't look likely. Boss is nearly down. BKB silence. The isolation hits him. Alfurion is moving in with an immediate Twilight Dream, and they're about to drop everybody, and the boss is already eliminating the core. Down to 3, down to 2, and this is game as the Ducks take map number 3 and take the lead in the best of 5 series.
Map control on full display there, the strength of the double turn-in being on full display there, and what you need to do to stop it not happening here for Team Good Guys and the Playing Ducks. Run away with this game, and I'm fearful here for Team Good Guys. They almost looked a little bit on the tilted side when they were trying to force that turn-in. At some point, you have to make the decision, okay, we've lost our keep, we can't get this turn-in, Lenara poke keeps coming in, but yet they kept trying to force it.
I mean, in all fairness, I think their thought process was simply, now we have even talents. If we don't achieve the turn-in right now, when are we ever going to get an opportunity? Because the 16 drops, and then you are just barely on level 13 on the side of TGG, so you know it's 3 levels that you have to actually bridge in order to make something happen. They probably just accepted that if they don't get the turn-in at this point, then they are going to lose the game in the long run. And the Playing Ducks played perfectly around it. Just never engaging, always interrupting, buying the time for the Haka, and then after 16, finally taking the fight there. It was just very well played by the Playing Ducks, and a great game from them. Yeah,
it really was, man. Turning it around there. Game number 1, Team Good Guys looked wonderful, and it felt like this might be a series where Playing Ducks might struggle, but game 2, they were able to pull it out, and game 3, they are starting to find their stride here. Let's go ahead and go to Battleground number 4. Where will we be playing? It's going to be Towers of Doom, as it appears.